Hello, everybody. I guess I'm live. Holy crap. I haven't live streamed in a bit. So, sorry if I'm like wildly rough. All right. I've never live streamed directly on YouTube, so hopefully I do this right. All right. Welcome to the stream. Let me say hi to everyone here. Hi, 100 Stitch Gamer, Kalista Kazoo, Messy Studios, Rachel Hewitt, Benjamin Foxy NAF, Gabrielle, Kat Sands, Drew C. Okay, is there a way? There should be a way for me to slow this chat down. And I don't know how. That's fine. Hi, how is everybody doing? Oh, wow. Okay, I didn't realize. What did I say, all? It's been a minute since I did this. Let me rearrange these things because it's like you can't see anything. Wow. I don't even know if you could read that. Anyways, so I said that I was going to do an AMA live stream once we hit 100,000 subs, and it happened on Monday, I believe, which is really exciting. Thank you everybody for subbing. Yeah, it's just wild. I started doing videos again in February, and now... oh, sorry, my mom's texting me. She can't watch the stream. Hi, Mom. Okay, so this is how it's gonna work. I'm going to start by answering the questions that are in the comments of that video that I made a week or so ago, and then just because the chat moves so fast, so I'm gonna start with those, and there's a lot there, so let's go. Oh, actually, before we begin, I do want to make a disclaimer. So I am going to answer all... Oop, what happened? Oh, I'm going to answer all the questions. The only things... Megan's here! Whenever Megan shows up on one of my live streams, I stop everything. And I'm like, everyone, pay attention to Megan. Okay, so things I will not answer questions about is what happened with Snarled, because I already made a video about that. Tired of talking about it. If you want to watch that video, it's on my channel. It's called Life After Something Scary. Yeah, and I answer everything in there. So that's that. And I will not answer questions about anything related to what's going on with Snarled now, mostly because I'm not involved. I don't know what's going on there. So, oops. Sorry, that was my alarm to take my pill. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there, so I won't answer questions about that. Cool? Yeah? Also, any personal questions, like my social security. But everything else is free game. All right, you ready? All right, let's start with... Wow, okay. That's an aggressive username. What inspired you to talk and animate about horror stories? What's your favorite snack? Okay, let's start with the first question. What inspired me to talk and animate about horror stories? So my love for horror stories and ghost stories in general began as a wee little child. My grandpa and the rest of my family just had really cool stories that they posed as very real when they all lived in the Philippines or Hawaii. So I kind of grew up with this understanding that folklore, ghost stories was a real thing, but they weren't just stories to my family. Like, they were real. And so that's the environment that I grew up in. And so yeah, I don't know. I just became obsessed. And honestly, I never really had that many I have like some supernatural things happen to me, but no real like crazy paranormal stories. And I think that's part of why I am so interested in hearing other people's, because I'm like, I want to know what that feels like, you know? What's my favorite snack? Honey mustard pretzels from, I don't know the name of the brand, but it's like these honey mustard pretzel bits. Oh God, they're so good. Ooh, who's your favorite artist? Ooh, I have a lot of favorites. Megan Tenyes is one of my favorite artists, and she's in the chat. Beth B. Rad. I'm just gonna say all my friends. Jess Kovic, all very talented artists. I don't have anyone like on the top of mind, but I follow so many amazing people. Wow, this is bad. This is off to a great start, guys. Oh, someone asked where Lola is. Lola didn't want to be on the stream with me, so I've got Zizu down here. I wanted to set up a puppy cam, but I was running really late, so sorry. Which story do you think is the best in this channel? I mean, my favorite one so far is the Dire Ditch Cave. If we're talking ones that I've animated. But my favorite podcast episode is Doula for Death. If you haven't listened to it, I highly recommend. Sorry, drinking my breakfast shake. How do you look so pretty? I don't know. Genetics. I don't know. Also, overexposed lighting. See, it's wiping out all of my imperfections. So, thank you for the question. All right, from Joseph Carville, what is your favorite creepypasta? Congrats on 100K. Oh my. I don't know. If you mean specifically like from the creepypasta like website, God, there was one that I really liked and I can't remember. Why am I doing an AMA live stream if I don't know how to do it properly? I get, this is my problem. When people ask for my favorite thing, I think it stresses me out because I like so many things and I'm like, oh God, I want to pick one that like encompasses me as a person. And if I pick the wrong one, then I start like way overthinking it. So welcome to my brain. One of my favorite creepypastas is a really, really short one. It's the one, let me see if I remember it. So I'm sure you've heard this. So somebody is sitting on a subway train and they come into the car and straight across from them they see this person sitting across from them and staring directly at them, just like really creepishly. And they're like, why is this person staring at me? And they keep trying to like avoid eye contact, but they keep looking and the person's still staring, and they pass like several stops and they're still staring at them. And then like eventually this person comes up to him and says, hey, get off the train with me. And so they get off the train and then that person's like, yeah, that person who we were looking at was dead. And they were being held up by the people who were sitting on either side of them. Yikes. Isn't that spooky? Oh, hi, Weekly Creep. Sorry, when I see names. Oh, I see names I recognize. Hi, Kyle. Kyle's an awesome, oh no, what was your title? Gemologist? Geologist. Oh, sorry. From Australia. And he's going to be on Stories with Sapphire in the future. I've interviewed him and he's awesome. So keep an eye out. All right. It's Bree. Oh, that's not a question. What's a coincidence? I was just binge watching her scary stories. Here we go. Oh, this is from LNCY. What horror movie story traumatized you when you were a kid? Congrats, Ate, in nearly reaching 100,000. Mahal kita. If you don't know what mahal kita means, I love you in Filipino, in Tagalog specifically. So I have a really funny story. It's funny. I just did a podcast about this on Monday. I'm going to be a guest on a show called Scarred for Life, where they bring on guests and we talk about the horror movie that traumatized you as a kid and then just like rewatching it as an adult. Who do I have a story? So, Mom, if you're watching, you'll remember this. So, when I was like 4 and my older sister Sabrina was 5, we had the worst babysitter named Melody. My mom doesn't remember her last name, and I want to find her. I just want to see like what she's doing because she's probably a serial killer. Honestly, she was the worst. So I think it might have been the first day that she was babysitting us, but she thought it would be so funny to lock me and my sister in a room and play the movie Dolls from 1987, Stuart Gordon film. And now looking back on it, I'm like, did she bring a Dolls VHS to the house and like plan this, or was it on the TV? Like, I don't remember why this movie was on the TV, but I remember that credit sequence so clearly where it just has like the creepy doll faces, and we were screaming. Like she was like laughing, and then she ran out of the room and locked us in there, and we're banging on the door. We're like, let us out. And so rewatching the movie, I'm not even kidding, that credit sequence gave me flashbacks. I was like, this is my Vietnam. And so like I actually don't remember at what point she did let us out, because like parts of the movie did feel familiar, but a lot of it I feel like I never seen before. But I ended up liking it a lot more than I thought I would, even though it was like super, super tainted by that experience. So after she let us out, I remember I ran to the landline and I called my mom at work, and I was like, Melanie locked us in the room. And that wasn't the first time that she locked me out of something. Like, it might have been the same day, might have been a different day, because my mom says that she fired her immediately, but I remember seeing Melody multiple times. So maybe it was the same day. She locked me out of the house in the backyard. And my sister was on the inside just like staring because she was like too weak to open the lock. And then I remember so specifically Melody was like, no, Sabrina, come here. Like, she didn't want Sabrina to open the door for me, and Sabrina was just like looking through the glass. What the hell? Anyways, thanks for bringing that up, Ellen Sue. Oh, there's like a weird, that's bothering me. Sorry, I like have to cut my own hair, and you know, sometimes there's little stragglers. Okay, next question. Mr. Unknown, when did you first start saying ate? I think that was September of 2018. I do remember it was when I started doing something scary again after there was like a 3-month break in the summer. And I was like, I think... Yeah, or what started it was because people in the comments were calling me that. And I was like, that's so cute. So people still ask what it means. Ate is just a term of respect for an older sister in, or like an older female. Well, it's older sister in Filipino. And then ating is younger sibling in Filipino. Specifically Ilonggo, I think. So I thought it was really cute that people were referring to me as ate in the comments, people from the Philippines or people who are Filipino. And I have never been called ate before because I'm the youngest in my family. And also we were Cebuano. We didn't really call each other this, but in Cebuano it's Inday, and older sister is Manang. That didn't last very long in our family. Cool. Thank you. Andy German asks, do you ever get legitimately scared after reading fan-submitted stories? No. So, okay, let me... Here's the thing. I will never get sick of ghost stories. I love them. I will never miss an opportunity to hear one. But when you read a bunch of them, like one after the other, it takes more for me to be really wowed by one. You know what I mean? So while I love all of them, there's been like a handful that have genuinely creeped me out. Actually, you know what? I think the creepiest one, and I don't know if anyone watching would remember this. Actually, you know what? Probably, because I still get asked questions about this. I did an episode with a girl named Brooklyn who had a bear named Rosalita. When she messaged me on Instagram and she sent me videos and she sent me all this stuff, that genuinely creeped me the hell out. Looking back, I'm like, I think she was messing with me. But there was a point in our Instagram exchange where she, all of a sudden, the tone of the messages changed. It became really serious. And then she was like, hey, sorry about that. That was Rosalita. And I'm like, hold up. Yeah, I mean, she was definitely messing with me, but that creeped me out. All right. MD, what was your favorite something scary video that you made? I don't know. I don't think about them anymore. I rewatched one like a couple months ago, and I remember thinking, oh God, my editing was so scrappy. The drawings were so lazy. Like, to be completely honest, like, I started burning out real quick, so I had to cut corners, and I wish I could be proud of like every episode I did, but looking back, I'm like, wow, doing that every week was not a sustainable way to be, which is why I'm doing it every other week now, because that's more, I can handle that. Sophia sounds like my name. Girl, I love you so much and congrats. Question: where do you learn how to draw animation? I went to Loyola Marymount University and I got a animation degree that I'm still paying for. How much time does it take to make a video? So the ones that I do now, maybe like less than a week, around a week. It depends. Some take longer. The one I just finished took me longer because it takes place underwater. So I was drawing like scuba gear and stuff, and now I'm like, okay, I need to keep these stories more simple. When is my birthday? September 21, baby. Same day as Stephen King, same day as Carrie. Thank you. Dinesh Raja, have you ever experienced any paranormal things in real life that made you love horror stories? No, I know I always disappoint people, but I kind of answered that earlier. Like, I think that's why I'm so obsessed with these stories, is because I haven't had anything significant. But here's the thing. I don't know. I mean, like, maybe when I was little, there was something weird that happened and I didn't register it as paranormal. I don't know. Sorry, I needed a sip. Next question. MD, can you do the lotus pose? Basically, you rest both feet on your thighs. Just wondering. I love this question because, like, why do you want to know that? I can, but not great. Airlix, congrats. Thank you. Jay Zivlin, what's your favorite thing about telling creepypastas, urban legends? I just love them. I think I am such a huge wuss when it comes to other things. Like, I'm not really an adrenaline junkie or seeker. Like, I don't do bungee jumping. I don't do skydiving. I don't do snowboarding. Like, snowboarding may not be that dangerous, but like anything where if I died doing it and people think, well, what was she expecting? That's the kind of thing I typically avoid. And because of that, I have to seek my rush of fear in other ways. And ghost stories, horror movies, those are basically very safe ways to experience that adrenaline rush. Like, I'm not going to die watching a horror movie, but I still feel that, that feeling. And there's a reason why, like, people are always like, why do you love scaring yourself? That's actually part of human nature. When I was doing the Alter Weekly podcast, we interviewed this guy who studies the psychology of fear. And essentially, baby animals, the reason why they play fight with each other is to prepare themselves for the real world. And so in a way, these ghost stories, these horror movies, that's humans' version of play fighting and prepping ourselves for handling possible fear in the future. Isn't that cool? More you know. Okay, Ariana Grande. Oh my god, Ariana. How long does it usually take to make one animation video? I answered this one already. It's like less than a week, depending on my schedule. Have you ever had any paranormal experiences? Hardcore fangirl. Like I said, nothing really big, but I did have something really cool happen. I've said this like a million times, but I'll say it again. So, what? This was December, October. I don't remember what this was. It was last year, late last year. So my grandpa died in July, and in like October or December, I remember I was sitting over here by at my altar, and I don't know, just really missing him. And so I said a little prayer. I was like, Grandpa, you know, it would be really chill if this is paraphrasing, like it'd be really tight if you made yourself known today, because I just really miss you and I would like that. I wasn't expecting anything to happen. I was just like, whatever. So then I sat back down at my computer and I was working, and maybe like half an hour later, this moth flies over and it lands by my left hand, like inches away from it. And I like froze and I stared at it and I said out loud, Grandpa? So ridiculous saying it. And then the moth, I held my hand out. I wanted to see what would happen. And then it flew onto my finger. And then I looked at it and I was like, thank you, Grandpa. And then it flew away, and then it landed over there on my wall, and it stayed there for like a couple hours. I thought that was cool. And again, like, maybe it was just a moth. Maybe nothing happened. Maybe it wasn't really anything. But in Filipino lore, and actually in a lot of cultures, moths are thought to be the spirits of our ancestors. So because I knew that, that's what made me feel like this might be significant. That also wasn't the first time a moth had landed on me. The first time was the week before he died. Moths are also thought to be like messengers, omens of death, possibly. And I remember it was just like it was flying in the living room. And there's always moths in my house, and I never really pay attention to them, but that one I paid attention to. And I was like, oh wow, that moth, there's a moth. And then it just flew over and it was like landed on my arm. And I remember it staying there for a really long time. And I was like, what does this mean? And so I walked outside and I let it like fly off. And then like a couple days later is when he died. Again, I don't know if that was anything, but it's kind of nice to think. A moth doing moth things. Yes. Okay, so thank you for your question. Ooh, hang on, what's going on here? My thing's not scrolling. Oh, there we go. Sorry, I'm having issues. Tanya asks, how did you think of opening an independent channel? How do you get such creative ideas? How did I think of? Well, I had been doing this on Snarled, and then when I quit, I realized, wait, I still like doing this. That's kind of it. Yeah, and I still like doing it, and it feels good knowing that I have ownership of everything that I'm making. Yeah, I mean, the reasons why I quit Snarled were purely legal. I was like, well, I can do this on my own, so that's it. It's not a great answer. Sparkle K asks, are you interested in branching out and doing more art styles? I mean, the way that I draw is like, that is my style, so it's the easiest way. Oh, Kyle says they represent spiritual transformation too. Thank you, Kyle. Moths. Sorry, I just realized I'm jumping all over the place. Yeah, I don't know what you mean by art styles, but the way that I draw is like what comes naturally to me. I'm still messing around with the color palette. I don't know if it's like too red, but yeah, I don't know if I answered that question. When did you first begin to like scary spiritual stories? I did answer this one already when I was little because my family had a bunch. Oh, come on. Sorry, like the focus is it's okay. Yeah, my family had a bunch of stories, so I just grew up in that environment of like, oh, cool, ghosts are real, spirits are real, and maybe one day I will experience one. Ugh, what happened? Oh, that's so annoying. Ugh, okay, I need to stop. Let's see. May or June, do you like Taylor Swift's music, and what's your favorite song from hers? Honestly, not really. It's not that I actively dislike her. I'm just very ambivalent. She's not someone I seek out. I liked Blank Space. That was catchy. Like, she has some catchy songs. I'm really bad at keeping up with pop music. I'm very behind. Like, I didn't know who Billie Eilish was for like the longest time. I don't know. It's too much work to keep up with music. So I just like what comes up. I like Dua Lipa. That wasn't the question. You asked about Taylor Swift. Worries. When did your love for these scary but entertaining stories begin? When I was little. I answered this one already. Sorry, there's going to be some repeats. J Bunny L1. Can you open a second channel for the extended versions of your stories? You wouldn't even have to animate it. I just enjoy hearing them. I'm not entirely sure what you're asking, but I post the podcast episodes on my channel already, so they're there for you. You just gotta find them. Have you had a nightmare or banyunyot, I should say, and woke up heart beating real fast? If yes, what was it about? Congrats as well. More loyal listeners to come. Thank you, Buzz Does Noises. So banyunyot is the Tagalog word for nightmare. It's so embarrassing. In the 3rd episode of the podcast, I pronounced it wrong. I said bangungot. And now there's just like a million comments like, that's wrong. I'm like, okay, thank you. I am American. I don't pronounce things correctly. Yeah, I've had nightmares. I had a nightmare like the other day, and it was real weird. I was with somebody, and then they got possessed, and I was trying to like exorcise them. It was wild. I have vivid dreams every night, and apparently that means you're not sleeping in the deepest sleep that you can. So I'm just not getting sleep, y'all. Max Billion says, you deserve all this for your unbelievably creative mind. Love your shirt, by the way. Oh, thank you. The shirt they're talking about is my Bloody Mary shirt, not this one. Oh yeah, speaking of shirts, if you want to get some Stories with Sapphire merch, I think there should be a link in the description. If not, it's just storieswithsapphire.com/shop. Yeah, that should take you to the link. Justel, which creepypasta gives you chills the most? I kind of already answered this one. The one with the dead person. Mark Clark, have you ever came up with a story of your own? Maybe even tried to write a book of thriller horror genre. If not now, can you see yourself doing something like that in the future? I'm so proud of you, by the way. Oh, thank you. Well, yeah, all of the videos currently on my channel are original fiction. With the exception of Kuchisaki Onna and Maria Labo, the others were co-written by Adam Sinker, who I've written like a lot of stuff with. He's super fun. I don't think he's watching. Hi, Adam. So yes, I have come up with stories of my own, and it's the thing about something scary and stuff. Yes, those were user submitted, but a lot of the times they had to be like reworked so much, almost to the point of like being a whole new thing. So that's why I had to start saying like this was inspired by this story, because like the version that was published ended up not really being close to whatever the original. So yeah, I've been writing a lot of stories for a while. Okay, that's not a question. Thank you. Gingyu, hi, what is your favorite Japanese or Filipino horror story? My favorite Filipino monster is the Manananggal, which is that like half is a woman. She looks like a woman during the day, and then at night she grows giant bat wings, and then she separates from her legs. She just leaves her legs randomly in the forest, and then she flies up, and her intestines are dangling, and she like flies around for looking for pregnant women. And then when she finds a pregnant woman, she shoots out her long, skinny tongue, and then like shoots it into their belly button and scoops out the unborn baby, and then like eats it. It's pretty brutal. But I just think it's like a cool creature. I'm like, why? And you know what? I don't. You might have seen these photos, but there's photos of these bats in the Philippines that are almost human size, and I'm wondering if that was the origin for the Manananggal. Because if you saw that flying in the sky, you'd be like, yo, that's a human in the sky, but like half a human. So maybe. Let's see. Do you have any scary experiences when you were younger that you'd like to share? I was terrified of everything, so I feel like everything was scary to me. But there was something that's just like so... Oh, do I have any mods in the chat still? Hang on one sec. What's happening here? Do I have any mods left? I think they're gone. What is happening? Sorry, one pause, please. Okay. Scary experiences when I was younger. I mean, I don't remember this because I was a baby, but this is the story that my parents told me, where I was in my crib, or no. I was in like a little playpen thing, and I somehow climbed out, and then I like fell onto the tile, and so like all of the adults came running over. Oh, thank you, Aiden Andrew, for the super chat. All the adults came over, and they're checking on me because I was crying, and then my cousin, who was like 3 at the time, came over, and he had like a full can of soda, and he dropped it, boop, right on my head. So look, I smashed onto a tile floor. Oh, Megan, love you. Thank you for stopping by. So I smash onto the tile floor, and then immediately have a full can of soda drop on my baby head. So, I'm not looking great. And then apparently, like, I stopped crying, but then I started like twitching. And so my parents had to take me to the doctor, and they did a little like baby MRI on me. And yeah, I mean, I'm fine. I had to be on like medicine for like a year, but they love to joke that if that didn't happen, I'd be so much smarter. Like, okay. Rude. So, yeah, I don't remember that, obviously, but it was something scary that happened to my parents, I guess. What kind of paranormal story? Oh, Kenneth Mai asks, what kind of paranormal story both fascinates you yet can't help but evoke a sense of fear at the same time? All of them. I don't know. They all fascinate me, and they all scare me. Sorry, that's not a great. I just realized how many comments there were, so now I'm gonna try to go through them. Tyler Johnson, what are some of your favorite movies? Also, do you have any Karen stories? I do, but not any that I would want to share. Some of my favorite movies. Seven N is maybe one of my all-time favorite movies. It's just so good and creepy and scary. Unfortunate that Kevin Spacey's in it, but it's one of my favorite movies. What else? Mean Girls is one of my favorite comedies. I laugh every time I watch it. Yeah. I have a bunch. Again, I get stressed out when people ask for my favorite thing because I'm like, it needs to represent me entirely, but it doesn't. Rio Dazed asks, is Oddings our official fandom name? If you want it to be. I stopped saying Oddings for a while, and then I kept getting comments like, why don't you say Oddings anymore? And I was like, oh, okay. I guess you guys like that. Okay, not a question, but thank you. Marvin Miller, what's your favorite story you did back in Snarled? Already kind of answered. I like this. Kindarius Bozel asks, would you rather be stuck in a room with 100 screaming babies or one alligator? I guess it depends how long I'm stuck in the room. Because if it's not that long, I think I could do either. I can't stand the sound of crying babies. It's not even like a woman thing. It's more like I don't know what to do. And also, are those screaming babies actual babies, or are they Chinooks? Which is the babies, the demons that disguise themselves as babies. And then they cry to lure you towards them. Now my mind goes there. Now I'm going to be scared of babies forever. Sorry. There's no username. How do you become such an amazing narrator for your stories? First of all, thank you. Second of all, if you look at videos of me when I was younger performing, I was not a good performer, but I liked doing it so much. And so I knew that. And I knew that I needed to get better and I needed practice. And so I took every opportunity. I was in speech and debate or speech team in high school. So that helped me get over my fear of not really fear, but it helps me be more comfortable doing public speaking. And then in college, I took some acting classes, voice development classes. I wanted to be good at it. And so I took the steps to be better at it, and I'm always learning. I'm always trying to improve. Yeah, I don't know if that. I am thinking of doing a video series on hey, tips on how to make your ghost stories better. I don't know, but we'll see. That requires time. Absolite 6. Were there any books you read that scared you? Do you have a favorite haunted place that you visited? I do I'm currently reading Junji Ito comics. I'm currently going through Uzumaki, which is where the town is invaded by spirals. And that alone doesn't really sound scary, but his art, that's my favorite artist, Junji Ito. His art is amazing, and he masters body horror so much because you look at these drawings and then you imagine it happening to you, and it just it's rare that things get under my skin, but that Uzumaki, Junji Ito, yes. Do you have a favorite haunted place that you visited? The Lep Castle in Ireland was really cool. I went there 2-3 years ago. I don't think anything happened when I was there, but it was cool because it's just owned by this family. And they don't charge you anything to go. So it's we're literally just roaming through these people's house, which happens to be a castle. But they did say, oh, thank you, Aiden Andrew, for $2. Now I lost my train of thought. But they did, because I asked them if anything happened to them. And they said, well, our daughter refuses to stay in the actual castle part. She stays in a little gatehouse near the entrance, because when she was younger, she would see little girls in the castle all the time, and she didn't like that. So, gee. Anish Kaverma, do you have any personal scary experience? I think I already answered that one. Isabella, will you animate more of your stories, including those from previous podcast sessions? Maybe. The animation ones I like to do more specific for video stuff, just because it needs to be short. It needs to have not a huge amount of characters or locations so that I don't lose my mind drawing it. So that's part of the reason why I kind of just do something totally new. Sorry, I'm I'm really trying to get through these. Oh my gosh, it's already been an hour. Hang on. It is not scrolling. Give me one sec. Computer. Hang on. What's happening here? What? Oh, here we go. Sorry. My computer's being real funky. Oh, thank you. Not a question. I want her to do more animated stories. Okay, well, don't we all? The animated stories take me the longest time to do. Eventually, I would like to hire an animator, because while I like doing the animation. It's not something that I need to do. So that was the first person that we hired on something scary. My friend Johnny. That was awesome. That was nice because then I could just like focus on the story, focus on the editing of it, because that's the stuff that I really like. But for now, it's a necessity for me to draw it. But if you want to help me build my team faster, you can help by joining my Patreon. Link should be in the description below. Patreon.com/StoriesWithSapphire. You can share my channel, share my videos. I don't make a whole lot of money doing this. So, yeah, I don't know. Whenever people ask for more, it's kind of like, well, yeah, I'd like to, but it's hard when I'm also trying to do freelance stuff on the side so that I can live. Oh, thank you. Not a question, so I will move on. Afra, what gives you the motivation to make all these amazing videos? The motivation, I don't know, it comes and goes. But I love spooky stories. I love ghost stories. My ultimate goal, this is actually, here we go. This is the answer. What keeps me going is because I treat everything that I do as like a proof of concept for something bigger. Like I would really one day like to have a TV show or a movie. Like that's always been the dream. And so if I can, prove, it's so annoying. Like the way that development works now, especially for TV, is if you don't have an existing following, the likelihood of them investing in you is a lot less because they want to know, like, okay, well, are people going to be interested in this? And it sucks. I hate that it's like that, but that's what I view this channel as. I'm like, look, if I can show them, hey, this many people are down, like, and this many kids too, because I've been trying to pitch kids scary stuff for the longest time. They're like, we think it's too scary. And I'm like, I think that you're underestimating children because I have proof that millions of children, like tiny, tiny children, want this. So that's sort of like the way I'm treating this. I want to be like, look, Nickelodeon or Netflix or whoever the fuck. This is what children want, and it's not too scary for them. Wow, that was a really long-winded answer. Peachy Sizka. What do you use to make your videos? I use Adobe Animate, which isn't great, but how much do you enjoy making these videos? I like them, but it's easy to get burnt out. Have you ever thought about making a horror book animated series of your own? Sort of answered that. If so, what are some tips and ideas you have? I don't know. I don't have any tips because I haven't sold any shows. How long have you been interested in horror? My entire life. Thank you. Okay, so what's one of your favorite stories you've told based on a real story that happened to you or a relative? Ooh. I have a lot, but one of my all-time favorite ones, I'll keep it real short, is when one of my cousins was little, like 3, and then she was in a room, and then her mom and her sister were like outside, and she was just playing in that room by herself, and all of a sudden she starts screaming and crying, and so her sister and her mom come in. They're like, what's wrong? And she's like throwing stuff at this one corner of the room, and they're like, why are you doing that? And she's like, tell the little red girl I don't want to play with her. I mean, there's more to it than that, but yeah, that always freaked me out because I remember when they told me that when it happened, and I was like, I'm never visiting you guys ever. Oh man, yeah, that's one of my favorites. Ooh, Isabella Ann, will you be telling stories that are based in New York? That would be so cool. Maybe, yeah. If you know any, let me know. Thank you, Ada and Andrew, for the super chat. If you guys didn't know, there's this option in YouTube to send a super chat, and basically you can select any monetary amount, and then it's highlighted in the chat, and then I am legally obligated to read your chat and read your name. Sorry, I'm getting notifications and I'm trying to figure out what's happening here. Let's see. Okay, that's not a question. I kind of already answered that. All right, guys, I'm going to skip some now. Sorry. I want to keep this moving. Oh, thank you. Kind of already answered that. Ooh, here we go. I like this. Nat D asks, or not D, that's a little happy face. I've always wondered, what do you think happens after we pass? Like, what do you think is going to happen? So this is something that it's part of the reason why I do the podcast, because I always ask people, what do you think is going to happen? I used to be really afraid of what would happen when I died. And I don't remember where I heard this, but someone explained, see, this sort of goes against what I think though, but it also brings me comfort. Like, okay, so you know how you don't remember a time before you were born? It will feel that exact same way when you die. Like, you not existing won't make you feel anything. So there's nothing to be afraid of. You know what I mean? I don't know. That sort of weirdly brings me comfort. But then at the same time, I'm like, I do also believe in an afterlife in a way. I just don't think it's like the cliche thing of people. What? Oh. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure. I do think that there is an afterlife, and I do think that there is a way to communicate with those people, but it's not... I don't know. I'll leave it at that. Okay, that's not a question. Ooh, I like this. Okay, so Haneo Sora asks, who was your fictional or celebrity crush? This is so embarrassing. Elijah Wood. He was my biggest crush when I was in like elementary school. So much to the point, and this is so embarrassing. Like I sent a letter to his fan mail address, and I sent photos of myself, and we're like, I don't know if you're looking for a girlfriend. Oh my God. I want to know if he ever read that, or if like a human person ever read that and thought, oh, this tiny girl is going to kill you. Oh man, that's so embarrassing. Oh, Mel Nebres. Thank you for the super chat. New to your channel and already loving the content. There's a rumor in my family history that we had a run-in with a duende or Nuno Sapunso. Oh my gosh. Well, I want to hear that story, obviously. My family has a couple duende stories as well. If you had a supernatural ability, assuming that you don't secretly have one, what would it be? Man, I would really like to teleport. I think that would be tight. Do I have any pet peeves? Yes, I have so many. Too many to name. I don't even want to mention them because I think you guys are going to be like, wow, Sapphire's the worst. Already sort of answered that. Do you also read stories like romantic love fan fiction? No. Oops, sorry, my computer's being weird. Too weird for you. What is your favorite horror game? Favorite horror game. Bendy and the Ink Machine's pretty cool. I have a little Bendy doll over there. I haven't finished it. I should probably do that. That one's fun. Yeah, I think that's my answer. Charles Miles, it's so good to know that you're back. I was wondering, how are you doing? I'm doing okay. Aiden Andrew, another super chat. My God. Carrie V, you deserve to get verified. Will you be releasing merch? Yes. There is already merch. StoriesWithSapphire.com/shop, and the link should be in the description below. What was an urban legend that really affected you and frightened you as a kid? Bloody Mary. My cousin had told me a story about it where I used, this was the very first episode of Something Scary, where her and her friend were having a sleepover, and they went to the bathroom and they tried Bloody Mary. They saw a head in the mirror. They freaked out. So they never went to the bathroom again. And then, like, her dad came in the room later and was like, hey, are any of you on your period? And they're like, no, why are you asking? And he said, okay, well, I just wanted to know because there's, like, a drop of blood in the bathroom. And that creeped me out. Uh-oh. Looks like someone's gonna get banned. Okay. That's not a question. It's Karen. What would be the scariest ritual or legend you'd love to read or try? I don't know. I have to think about that. How did you find your love of scary stories? Kind of already answered that. That's not a question. Drummer Boy 2738. When you reach 1 million subs, will you remember me? Sure. We'll see. Yeah, Drummer Boy 2738. You'll be the first thing I remember if I ever reach 1 million subs. That'd be tight. Shadow Production. When and how did you learn to tell English stories clearly? I don't really understand. English is the only language I speak, so I don't know if that answers your question. How do you learn the things about the ghost urban legends that you're sharing with us? Research, talking to people, a lot of reading, a lot of interviewing people. Yeah, that's kind of it. In the past, when you make your first podcast, do you feel shy in front of the camera? Like I mentioned before, I became comfortable being in front of camera from being on speech team, being in musical theater. I've been doing YouTube for a while, like ever since 2013. The first YouTube show I did was for channel Frederator, where I told like animation news and stuff, and that's still on the internet somewhere. It's so cringy. Oh my god. But yeah, just doing that every week made me feel more comfortable reading scripts and whatever. Yeah, with everything, with practice, you get better at it. How long it takes when writing a story or script? Like a couple days, maybe. Depends. I have moments where I have to like step away from it and not think about it, and then I come back to it. So it's like it could take me a week, but in the week it's maybe only a couple days. How did you make your voice not cracking? That is something I learned from the voice development class that I took in college. That class changed my life, honestly. Yeah, like that's when I learned about like what vocal fry was. And sometimes I have it in the podcast, but I use it very sparingly and intentionally. But there's a way to, like, the way that I speak, like right now, the way that I talk, that's not how I talk on the podcast. That would be so annoying. But yeah, like I changed my voice, and it's so funny whenever I do interviews and stuff, because I sound so different. But yeah, there's like things that you can do to improve your voice. So thank you for those questions. Kind of already answered that. Worst supernatural? Don't really have an answer for that. Sorry, now I'm just like skipping through. Already answered that. What inspired me to be a YouTuber? Sort of answered this, but I do want to explain. First of all, I hate the term YouTuber. I think it just always evokes just the worst type of person. Like when you think of it, what's the first thing you usually think of? Like vloggers or really annoying people. So yeah, I prefer like animator or storyteller who puts their stuff on YouTube. Like YouTube is just a platform that people can use to do the thing that they're doing. And honestly, like the thing I like about YouTube is that there is no gatekeeper, whereas with like TV and movies, there's so many gatekeepers. And that's why I'm using YouTube to get through those gates for myself. if that makes sense. I don't know if I answered that question. Vibing demon, is telling scary stories your job? I mean, in that I do it. Yeah. But I have other jobs. The goal is to do this full time. Oh, thank you, Shiru. Hero. Oh my gosh, Hero! If you listen to the podcast, season 3, episode 3, chapter 1, there's a story from Hero, who's in the chat right now. That's tight. Okay, not a question. Why do you have a huge interest in the other side? I mean, why not? I feel like even if you are skeptical, I think because there's so much mystery to the world, I don't know. How can you not be interested? Because I don't think it's something that we'll ever actually have a definitive answer for. And that mystery sort of is what drives people to always look for answers. I don't know. That's what motivates me to do the podcast, because I'm like, I want to know. I want to know what people think. I want to use that to form like my own opinions and stuff. Serapia Lopez. So you used to do a lot of stories that had to do with your cousin when you're at something scary. Do you still talk with and hang out with her? Yeah, she's my cousin. I had a couple different cousins that I shared stories of. But yeah, I like saw them on Friday. Oop, we have a visitor. You have Lola?
No, she's in the house.
Oh.
Looks like she's
Pick her
coming.
up.
Hold on.
You guys want to see Lola? She wants to hang out now.
She's running away. Lola? Gotta come here. So crap, this is a fire hazard.
No, it's not.
Fire hazard.
No, it's not.
It burned down in a fire. Did you see that car on fire yesterday?
Where?
Down the street.
No.
There was a car on fire.
Oh my god, are they okay?
I think so.
Lola, say hi. Lola. Good girl.
What's up, stream? Make sure to smash that bell.
Okay.
And, hit like, subscribe, leave a comment for engagement. YouTube loves engagement. Tell your friends. Yeah. And follow Sapphire on Twitter.com. Instagram.
They already do.
Snapchat. Do you have Snapchat? Does anyone use Snapchat anymore?
I think so. Oh, she's so shy.
TikTok?
All right, Lily, you want to stay with me? Yay. Do you have anything spooky you want to say?
I need to walk Zizu. I don't know if
Oh.
that's spooky.
Okay, yeah, go take him.
Oh.
Oh, I forgot that he was here. He's been so quiet. Hey, buddy. Oof.
Zizu?
Oh, everyone loves the puppy.
Yeah, she's a cute one.
Hey, Zizu's also cute. He might not like it. Sorry, we're taking a puppy break. I've been talking for an hour straight, so we're going to take a puppy break. Puppies. This is Isu. He only has 3 legs. He has cancer. He has a big old tumor in his lungs. So he doesn't take walking for long periods of time. Great.
All right, he needs a walk.
Okay. Bye. Bye, Zizu. He's so cute. Okay. Much needed puppy break. So, mayo and eggs. Many people have come on your show, talked about meditating. Do you ever consider meditating? Oh my god. Yeah. I love meditating. I think everyone should meditate. Meditating, you know what's so wild? So meditating and mindfulness is apparently, oh God, what was I listening to? I was listening to this podcast called The Happiness Lab, which is great. It's basically like a mini therapy session for half an hour. I highly, highly recommend. I don't listen to a lot of podcasts, but that's the one that I do listen to. And in it, she was talking about how it is actually not in our human nature to be still and quiet, like to have our minds racing and always thinking about stuff. Like it's hard to rein that in because our body isn't like naturally like what's the word, trained to do that. That's why it's really hard, because just like the way that we have evolved is like, well, now we need that. I'm not explaining this well. Anyways, just go listen to it. The Happiness Lab. It's great. What's your inspiration and what motivates you? I kind of already answered that. What kind of music do you listen to? Kind of already answered that. All right, we're getting some repeats. What story inspired your passion? Already answered that. What's the favorite thing you've been in? I don't know. I like everything I've done for different reasons. Like the Canadian show I did was cool because I got to fly to Canada. I'm like trying to think. Oh, you know what? One of the favorite things I have done is Breaking the Table, which was a really short 6-episode web series. You can find that on One Down Media. Yeah, it was just like a cool little web series where we talked about important things, important issues for the Filipino American community, and that's like my jam. So that was really fun. And the entire crew was Filipino, so like being on that set, I was like, this is the dream. So that was really cool. Teresa Aarons, could you make a video of how to do your animated videos? I've thought about that. Honestly, I'm just so lazy. It's like it takes so much effort to do the thing and then to also think about filming, doing the thing. I can't do it. I already answered that. Oh, I'm not going to answer that. Can you do a series of all your paranormal family experience? Kind of already have. Yeah, I use all my family stories in the podcast. And I've done a lot of them for something scary. No question. Not gonna answer that. What's your favorite grim fairy tale? Trying to remember. I have a book of them that I haven't read all the way through. I'd want to say there was one where like someone gets their hands chopped off. I think that was the juniper tree. I don't know if I'm wrong, but that one was wild. Grim fairy tales are so graphic. And also, not gonna lie, not very well written either. Like, there was a period when I was working on something scary where I was like, oh, I'm gonna do like fairy tales. And when I was reading them, I was like, hang on a second. Why are these so popular? Like, just like from a storytelling point of view, the way that they're structured, the way that things happen, I'm like, everything seems very random. I just don't think they're very well written. Like, they have some really wild things happening. I don't know. I might be alone in this. What was your first paranormal experience? Kind of answered that. Will you do series of going haunted locations? That would be tight. Obviously can't really right now because of COVID, but yeah. Do I have any plans of coming to India? I would love to go to India at one point. That'd be tight. That's on my list. You'll find my urban legends and ghost stories. Yes, I love Indian ghost stories. There's so many cool ones. I have an Indian episode coming up in a couple of weeks about the Bach, if you know what that is. Why are there people who dislike Sapphire stories? Why would you ask me that? That's okay. People are allowed to not like my stuff. And I'm allowed to not need them in my life. Sudi Sparkle, if you ever had a parent experience, I already answered it. If you ever quit YouTube, what do you see yourself doing in the future? Kind of answered this already. YouTube is never the end goal. YouTube has always been the means of getting to the thing that I actually want, which is to make a TV series or make a movie. Yeah. What's your favorite meal or dessert? Oh, ice cream. Not a meal, but dessert. Ice cream is my favorite. My husband makes fun of me all the time because I love ice cream so much. It's just so good. It's my favorite thing ever. Oh my god. Weekly Creep says Grimm's fairy tales are written as if Michael Scott wrote them. That's a really good observation. It's funny. Which of your videos is your favorite and why? Kind of already answered that. Thank you. Anjana Palos. What's your favorite color? I don't know. Red is everything in my stuff, so I'm like, oh my god, is red my favorite color? What's my favorite scent? No one's ever asked me that before. I like fruity stuff. I like coffee scent, but I can't really drink coffee anymore. I can have a little bit. What did you do during your hiatus? I was working on a freelance project that took a lot of my time, so I was like, I can't do anything else. Where did you get the beautiful earrings you're always wearing? And does it have a story? These are from my friend Lynn Pacificar's shop, Herbalaria. There is a link down below if you want to purchase your own. These were hand beaded by the Taboli people in the Philippines. So support indigenous artists and head on over to her website. She's got a lot of other cool stuff. Let's see. Ooh, I love this question. Rio Days asks, is there a time that you experienced something out of this world while filming YouTube or podcasts? Yes, kind of. So in general, when I'm interviewing people, there is always something kind of weird that'll happen, like glitches at really weird times. The most recent thing that happened, and I actually posted this on TikTok. I was interviewing this woman who said that she's kind of been haunted like her entire life. And in the background, I noticed something move, and it comes out of nowhere, and it's right as she's starting this story of, she said like her craziest story. And then I see something move, and then like I keep thinking about it, and I stop her, and I'm like, I'm so sorry to stop you, but is there a window right there? Because I figured it might have been a curtain. She's like, yeah. And I said, is it open? And she's like, no. And I was like, well, I just saw like a curtain move, and then she like showed me the window was closed. And then when she moved her laptop, I saw that there was like a cat bed, and I was like, oh, well, you have a cat, so I think your cat was there. And she goes, oh, I do have a cat, but he's in the other room right now. So I was like, what? We were trying to figure it out. We were trying to figure out what was moving in that video. And then I posted it on TikTok, and people on TikTok are mean. It's like, it's just fun, guys. Like, why are you calling me stupid? So that was one weird thing that happened, because I still can't explain it. And another, like, just, this may not have been paranormal, but it was just creepy because of the timing. I was filming an episode of something scary, about something about a demon, something about a devil. And it was like the second that I said devil, my camera turned off. And like the story had something to do with when you speak about this demon, it doesn't like it. Like it will prevent you from it. So it was like the timing of me being like devil, and then it shuts off. I'm like, oh my God, it really doesn't want me talking about this. But it was just, the battery ran out. It was just like the timing was so creepy. So, okay. Who is your favorite YouTuber, especially Creepypasta? Oh, like Creepypasta YouTuber? I don't really watch those. It's not that I don't like it. It's just when I'm doing a thing, it's hard for me to consume more of that thing. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, I already deal with ghost stories every single day. Where are you from? What's your nationality? Nationality, I'm American. I was born here. My parents are from the Philippines. They're both from Cebu, so I am Cebuano. Uh, what story do I like the most? Kind of already. How long have you been animating and making music? Animating, well, I've been drawing and making music basically my whole life, ever since I was little. Didn't do it professionally until, I don't know, a decade ago, maybe more. Kind of already answered that. Let's see. I'm trying to pick questions that haven't been answered. Hey, can you close my door? So what do you do outside of horror stories and YouTube? I do a lot. I teach a class once a week at LMU. It's a class where we talk about the importance of representation in media. That's something that's really important to me. So I do that. And then I also do freelance animation for random stuff. Right now I'm working on this documentary, doing some like freelance graphics for them, stuff like that. What else do I do? I mean, I guess it's also related to horror. Wow, I was like, I do a lot, but then I realized a lot of the things I do is related to horror. Like Paranormal Con and Camera is another thing I do. I used to have another podcast, but that got canceled recently. That's fine. Okay, so, what time is it? 11:22? All right. I'm going to wrap it up. I'm so sorry if I didn't have a chance to get to your question. I didn't realize there would be so many. I didn't realize it would take this long. But I'm so sorry. But yeah, I have to prep for, I'm interviewing some people for the podcast. So maybe I can do another AMA another time to answer all your questions if you want. Here we go. You know what? This feels like a good one to end on. Star Galax Gaze says, "Hi, Miss Sapphire. My question for you is, how do you deal with hate and not be affected by how toxic social media can be sometimes? I know it's not the case most of the time, and everyone is really supportive." Please answer this question. I don't. I let it get to me. Excuse me. I think the thing that helps me deal with it, I've been lucky enough that the hate that I receive is very rare. I don't think that the content that I make is divisive at all. Honestly, the only really negative feedback I get or comments was on my podcast when I started doing Stories for Change, which is when I wanted to talk about things that weren't necessarily horror related, but just stuff that I thought was important. Oh my God, so many reviews on Apple Podcasts being like 1 star, woke bullshit. And I'm like, okay, what? So that, when it's rooted in something like that, it's a lot easier for me to be like, oh, okay, well, you're just a bad person. So I don't have to listen to what you're saying. And that doesn't bother me. It's the stuff that bothers me, or the stuff that gets to me and affects me, is the stuff where I feel like they're attacking me as a person. So if I get comments that are like, the animation's not that good, this story wasn't that scary, and those are comments that I do get, those don't get to me because I know that I'm working under a lot of limitations. I'm by myself. I don't really have help when it comes to the actual production of what I'm doing. So I'm going to cut corners. It's not going to be perfect. And I want to be a perfectionist. In my head, it does kill me to upload stuff that's not how much perfect in the perfect place that I want it to be. But I have to let go. Otherwise, I'll never post anything. So that's been a really big lesson doing YouTube stuff. But it's the comments are also, yeah, it's the comments where people are attacking me or my character, where people are like, wow, I can't even think of an example, but those are the ones that really get to me, because I'm like, you don't know me. And so, I mean, this is why I don't know. It, yeah. It's like this. Wow, I'm like losing my words here. I guess, I mean, the stuff that gets to you is the stuff that you also sort of, in a way, believe to be true. You know, here's a recent example, and this wasn't even social media. This was like the class that I teach. So, like I mentioned, I teach a class, one class, very small, 12 people a semester. And I was applying for this promotion at LMU, and I had to gather the course evaluations from 3 semesters. I never read them because it stresses me out, even though I should read them, but it stresses me out. So I had to read them to pick the ones that I thought had the most positive reviews. And there was one semester where someone like really went off, and they were like, I know that, they're like, I'm not arguing that Sapphire is a bad person or like that she's not talented or like whatever, but this class is a joke. And they just like said a bunch of things about the class. And it's one thing if they were things that I knew weren't true, but it got to me because I agreed with them. And it really got to me because I don't like thinking that I'm wasting anyone's money. LMU's not cheap. And they sort of like said things to imply that like this is not worth the price of this education. And that really got to me because I felt really bad. And so, yeah. Am I even answering the question here? I don't know. I guess my advice is if something affects you in that way, examine why it's affecting you. Is it because you agree with it and you do think that you should work on these things? Then do that. Because then I took those words to heart. I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, these are things I agree with and things that I also believe I should work on for this class. And so I have been implementing those things. But if it's something that like, you know, they're just trying to get a rise out of you, then it doesn't really matter. And like, there's one, like 4th of July this past year, I had tweeted something really angry about people who set off fire or just fireworks in general on the 4th of July. I'm not a big fan, and neither are my dogs. And one of my dog, Lola, she was so freaked out that she hid in this little crevice in between the wall and our laundry machine. And just her mouth was open. She was panting. And that's when a dog's like really, really anxious. And I'd never seen her like this before. So I took a picture of it and I posted this really angry thing on Twitter. I was like, fireworks are the worst. My dog is freaking out. And the amount of negative replies that I got, and not even just comments on the tweet, but also private DMs. Like somebody took the effort to DM me to tell me how much of an idiot I am and my dog is that we can't even handle some measly fireworks. So it's like a situation like that. I'm like, you're the weirdo for replying to a total stranger's account about something that truly doesn't affect you. So stuff like that doesn't bother me. But it's the stuff that feels really like personal. That's the stuff that gets to me. Anyways, I didn't even offer any advice. Social media is dumb. It's just a bunch of strangers. Don't put too much weight on people's words. Yeah, that's my advice. What time is it? 11:30? Let me see if there's one more question I can answer. That might be a good last question. Oh, you know what? I remember reading this question. I do want to say this because I do get asked this a lot and I want people to know what I look for. So Brian Foster asks, are there any stories in particular that you prefer to feature on your podcast? I've sent a few stories, but I'm just not sure if they're Sapphire Sandalo material. So things that I like, obviously, I want to share more stories from people of color. That's like the reason why I made this podcast, because we just don't see that a lot. Not only just people of color, but any type of any marginalized groups. I want more queer stories. I want more stories from disabled people. Everything. As far as the stories go, the stuff that I do prefer is things that are true, or at least feel like they're true, because again, I can't really prove it. And things that are longer than a paragraph. So it should be like, I don't know, between 5 and 10 minutes is like the sweet spot for a good story. I like things that are tied to folklore or urban legends. I know, I'm like, what else? Yeah, I guess those are anything that sort of like provides like a unique perspective on the spiritual world. I go through so many stories, so I want something that feels different, something that feels exciting and new. Oh my god, what is happening? Ugh. Anyways. Oh, that wasn't a good last thing to end on. Was it? I don't know. Let's see. Okay. Well, it was a very anticlimactic ending. Well, thank you everybody for joining me today. I really appreciate it, and next week will be a new animated episode. This one's a really fun one. It is a story that I had on the podcast, but it's a little bit different. It's going to feature like 4 of my friends. I drew them all in there. So yeah, make sure you check it out. I already put the premiere page on YouTube, so you can like set a reminder for when that goes live next week. Okay, let's say bye to everyone. Bye, Sophia Ramos, Galaxy Haley, Sarah Pia Lopez, It's Winter, Ashley, Dodger Cage, Reha Paolo, Ditro Gaming, Chloe, Teacher, Paul Chudhuro, Boba Berry, Box, Nix, and the Ani. And A Christine. Oh my gosh, A Christine! She did a reaction video to Kuchisaki Onna, which is great. Bi-weekly Creep, Primers Day, Thomas McHugh, hi. Sorry, I'm like recognizing names and it's so fun. Angel Cortez, did I say Primers Day? Chicken Pop, Bean Hoff for Life, San Lloyd, Jason Roldan, Epic Swagger Person, Faye Johnson, Alexa McHugh, Elijah, Znoe Aura, Ryuzara. Sorry, I'm really bad at reading things fast. Just a regular person. Vicky. Awesome. Well, thank you everybody for joining me, and I will see you next week.